Hello, everybody. It's Michael Lutzman, Managing Director of the Opimian Wine Club. Thank you very much for joining us. Today is the Cellar in a Snap about Chile, which is, I say this all the time, it is one of our more popular cellars, and that's true for all sorts of reasons, the quality and the value, all of that. And I will start with my joke. Something's in the chat already. I bet you it's Paul saying, please don't tell a joke. No, it's actually Robert. Okay, good. So actually there are now 23 people. So this, my joke was going to be your wine in a million, but and that's one in a million. But there's 23 of you, so you're 23 in a million, the whole lot of you. So really appreciate that. Thank you very much for joining us. It's Sunday afternoon. Give me a break. And I have been cooking all day, so I'm a little punchy. But today we are delighted to have two gentlemen from Chile who have been longtime partners of Opimian, and we really appreciate that. Having access to their wines in Canada is so important to us, and really why we are such a strong club. We're going to tip over 10,000 members again, and it's just fabulous, and our sales are stronger than ever. So you're not here to listen to me. As I said before, if you've just joined us, if you want to unmute to ask a question, as long as you're not unruly, we'll allow it. And Kim Chen can always mute you if she has to. So and yes, Kim Chen is on the board today because Anais is flying back from BC to Quebec today, so she was unavailable to work with us today. So thank you, Kim Chen, for taking the time out of your weekend. And so we're first going to talk to Viña La Rosa, and that's going to be Gonzalo Carcamo, do I say that right, Gonzalo? Yes?
Yeah, yes.
Great. Yeah, not bad. And then Roberto's going to wait, and he'll take up the second half of this. I've got a bunch of wines here from both of you that I'm sipping away at, and we'll talk about those. And so over to you, Gonzalo.
Okay. Well, hello. Good afternoon to everybody. It's a pleasure that you can connect on a Sunday to enjoy about the wine and enjoy about the history that is behind the wine. Well, I represent Viña La Rosa, and I've been working in Viña La Rosa since 1998. So I'm just about to be 23 years working with the winery, almost since my university. So I have a lot of experience in the winery. And also the winery is being established since 1824 in Chile. That is a long history. It's one of the oldest wineries in Chile. Not always being the oldest winery is a good thing, but for us it's we mentioned because we had a long heritage of wine producing in the area. All the vineyards are located in the Cachapoal Valley and in the Peumo area, and been established since 1824. We are part of a holding company. So in total, we own 12,000 hectares of land. And for Chilean standard, 12,000 hectares is a long territory. Why I mention that? Because we have in our offer to you, we have Sauvignon Blanc, we have Carmener, we have Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, and as we are located only in Peumo, it's very important for us to point that we have different areas, a lot of different areas that give us the opportunity to produce good quality Sauvignon Blanc, good quality Chardonnay, good quality Merlot, and all the varieties. However, Peumo is well considered to be one of the best area in Chile. Not that I always say the best. It's one of the best area in Chile for Carmener production. So if you want to buy or taste a real good expression of Peumo, of Chilean good Carmener, you must taste the Peumo expression of the Carmener. In Peumo, where we are right now, you have very warm days during the maturity season. Warm days for Chilean standard is over 30 Celsius degrees, but during the night you have cold nights, and cold night for Chilean standards is below 12 Celsius degrees. That allows to the Carmener to mature, right, very slowly and with good freshness and good acidity, naturally. Because Carmener normally has a lack of acidity. So when you have cold nights, you can allow a good maturity, but with good acidity. And acidity is one of the key aspects in the quality of the wine. You're listening?
Yes, we're hearing you well, Gonzalo. Thank you.
Okay. So for you to understand, we are focused very much in one that you have fixed the climate condition. That is, the climate condition normally doesn't change very much in a valley. It changes microclimate conditions. But once you fix the climate condition, a very important aspect in the quality of the wine is the soil, because the soil is it marks very much the palate of the wine. So all the wines that we produce in the Carmener variety is from the mountain range, the coastal mountain range that formed a long time ago, with a lot of minerals inside the soil. And those minerals that are inside the soil, when you have the vineyard plantation goes into the plant and then go into the wines. That's why our wines has a lot of mineral taste and mineral flavors. Sometimes our wines, as some of the tasting that we made, in some points our wines are a little bit reduced because we have a lot of minerals inside the wines and needs more air to open up. That's a very important thing in our wines. The area where we are is an area where we have a lot of minerals that go inside the plant and then go inside the wines. So when you taste the Cellar, the Carmener, the Cabernet Franc, especially the red wine, you find some mineral notes and mineral flavors into the wine. Another important aspect in our vineyard is our vineyards are located in the Cachapoal River. That is a very cold area. So in that area we have all our Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, and Pinot Noir production. So we have the possibility to produce very fresh and very elegant Sauvignon Blanc. One of the best selling wines in Canada for the opinion members is the Sauvignon Blanc in all the ranges, because even though we have very warm days in the bank of the river, we have a lot of freshness, a lot of air that comes in the night that refresh the nights, and we can the possibility to have very good quality Sauvignon Blanc.
Do you have one open there, Gonzalo?
I have open, but unfortunately, I have a party last night, and all my friends, sorry, and all my friends drink the Sauvignon Blanc. So I have opened the Pinot Noir and the Carmener. But normally our Sauvignon Blanc is very, it's not like a New Zealand style, not to the tomato leaf, but it goes to the pomelo, grapefruit flavors and aromas. It's not too extreme in type of taste. It's not too dominate into the taste, but it's more into the tropical style of the Sauvignon Blanc. Yes, it's the most popular Sauvignon because it's not too, in Sauvignon it's too cold. You have the tomato leaf flavor and aroma, the capsicum flavor is too strong. Sometimes the wine is too dominant. Our Sauvignon Blanc is not that strong in that aromas and flavor. It's more into the tropical line. It's more into the citrus flavor and the grapefruit flavor. So it's not too strong. It's more soft and strong, but it has a good acidity and a good refreshing palate. That's why it's very popular, because it's not that strong.
And very drinkable on its own at parties, right? It's
yes, it's very drinkable. And unfortunately, I have the opinion selection for you today, and my selection, and they get inside and open whatever they want.
Took them both.
I'm so sorry for that. But that talks good about the wine, because in a party you can. It's very normally all our philosophy of winemaking is to reflect. It's something that all the winemakers say, but in our case, it's very extreme. That it's very strong, our position. Normally, all the wines that we produce, the oak is not dominant. We don't like to that the oak dominate. So in all the range that we are that we use the oak is very subtle, very balanced, and doesn't dominate the wine. In all the range, of course, in the higher quality range, there is more oak, but anyway, it's very well balanced. It's something that we take care of very much, and all our wines has a very good drinkability. That means not too much oak, the good amount of oak for the quality of the wine, but good acidity, good freshness, and soft tannin. That is a very characteristic thing about our wines, and in all the range, you will have a very drinkable wine, and when you have good acidity, all the wines also is a good pairing. In all the when you have low acidity wine, two oaky wines normally, and you are eating and drinking with food, normally those style of wine dominate food. Our wines, because they have less oak and good acidity, normally are very good food pairing. So nowadays, I have opened a Pinot Noir. I drink it with you can drink it with pizza, you can drink it with grilled vegetables, you can drink it with Asian cuisine. But also the Carmener, we drink it with pasta, with chicken, we drink it with Asian food. But also our Carmener, you can drink it with in a dessert with chocolate dessert. Our wines are very flexible in terms of food pairing. So normally I'm not a specialist in food pairing, but normally I drink our wines. I drink it with any food. It's not very fixed thing.
Great. And you've got the Pinot Noir. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're tasting there?
Yes. Our Pinot Noir is planted in the bank of the Cachemol River. Pinot Noir it's a very difficult variety to produce in a warm area. Medium warm area is very difficult, because Pinot Noir it's very elegant wine. So in a warm area, what we did is to protect all the cluster with the leaves, to avoid extreme heat. And also we planted in a way that the sun doesn't get directly into the cluster, so we planted it more or less into the direction of the sun to avoid extreme temperatures. And in that way, we chill down a little bit the micro temperature of the clusters. So we produce a very high quality Pinot Noir because of that. We made a very low extraction. We made extraction at very low temperature with a long time of skin contact. In some point, we add some stems inside the fermentations. The stem, the stem is what is to slow down the alcohol and to increase the freshness sensation. This Pinot Noir, I don't know if you can see in my glass.
It's very light.
Pinot Noir that has a very, very light color that we like it like this. Normally, in a hot climate condition, you will have more dark color Pinot Noir, more strong Pinot Noir, and we think that you lose the conception of Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir has to be light, has to be delicate, but with a very good flavor. With a very good flavor. Normally, in our wines, you will have some touches, as Jane pointed us a lot in our wines, fruit with a lot of spiciness and a little bit of a lot of spice, because we protect a lot the plant from the sun, and sometimes along with the fruit you will have some spiciness, some herbaceousness, but it's very good with it's a very good complement of the wine. We don't want it overcooked or over mature wines. Our wines always has a very straight fruit and very good acidity, because we don't we avoid extreme maturity into the wine. I don't know if you have any questions. It's more interesting to interact directly with the people.
That's right. Yeah.
We
feel free to ask questions, everybody. That's great.
We have a lot of information, but with this heat condition, it's very difficult to.
No, that's great. Yeah, and we'll want to make sure we get to your Carmeneres before we run out of time here too, Gonzalo.
Yeah.
Or did they drink all of those last night too?
Same thing.
Okay, good.
But I know by memory. Our Cabernet, I mentioned, we are in an area that we have a lot of minerals. Brazilian hair is quite good. Yes, a lot of mineral, but we have a lot of iron into the wine, into the soil, and into the wine. The minerality into the Carmener, it makes that and we have a lot of rocky soils also. So the rocky soil means make that the tannins of the Carmener is not so sweet and so soft. It's soft, but with a little bit of grip into the palate. Okay, and the minerality, the iron into the soil and into the wine makes that it's a little bit, when you open, a little bit reductive at the beginning. All the Carmeners, not all wines. That's why Jane mentioned it's a little bit tight at the beginning. You have to aerate our wines, because it's the iron, it's the mineral that are inside the wine, and iron play a very huge role in the oxidation reduction of the wine. So when you have too much iron that we start in our wines, normally tends to be reductive at the beginning. So you have to move it and smell it. And our Cabernet normally has iodine, bloody. Maybe if I say like that, you will not think it. That iron, earthiness, aromas, and flavors. It's very related to the minerals that you have. When you have that kind of mineral, you will notice beside the fruits, because there is a lot of fruit, red fruit, black fruit, truffles, blueberries, red berries. But beside that, you will have some ink, some blood, some iodine aromas, earthy aromas. That is because it's part of the terroir of the wine. That's what I wanted to explain, because we are in in our region, there's a lot of mining, because our soil they have a lot of minerals. And of course, when you have a lot of mineral in the soil, you have a lot of mineral in the vineyards, and you have a lot of minerals in the wine. And in this case, all our wines express the minerality with a little bit of reductiveness, with earthiness in the palate, especially the Cabernet.
Mm-hmm. And Paul Barnes is talking about him buying the Carmener barrel reserve. I actually have a 2014 here that's drinking really well at 7 years old.
Yes.
And really enjoying it. And Paul's suggesting that it be decanted beforehand, and that takes the edge off of those tannins, doesn't it?
Exactly. It not necessarily. it's not Peumo Carmenere. It's not necessarily a sweet, brown, velvety Carmenere, but it has some firm tannins and good acidity. And those tannins and good acidity makes that the Carmenere you can keep it for a longer period of storage, and you can drink it. You can have it for more years, and it will improve for more years.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we don't want to finish up before we talk about the schist and colluvial Carmenere, that beautiful case that's in our collector's corner.
Okay.
Do you want to talk a little bit about those two?
Yes. Well, I mentioned I don't want that you have the focus of the Peumo is only Carmenere, because we have beautiful Sauvignon Blanc. It's the best selling in opinion. We are working very hard because Peumo has a lot of potential in Cabernet Franc. Also, we have organic Cabernet Franc for you in the selection. We have spectacular Chardonnay that Jay Booth or Cordiana research Chardonnay. He writes a wine with masses appeal. It's very appealing, our Chardonnay. But of course, Peumo is very well known for the Carmenere. In this case, we have been working with Pedro Barra, a terroir consultant, for a long time ago, selecting the best, because, okay, Peumo, I mentioned, once you have a good climate, the most important, when you have a good climate, the second or the more important thing beside the climate is the soil. And the soil changes dramatically, meter by meter. The climate doesn't change dramatically meter by meter, but the soil does. And what we focus in these two wines is to select the best soil for Carmenere of our plantation, and that's the Cornellana Carmenere colluvial Carmenere. That is the best and the most typical and more classic soil for Carmenere production. Colluvial means it's the mountain formed millions of years ago, and all the minerals and soil by geological times start to sediment in the lower part of the mountains. So the soil is very deep because of this depositation of geological depositation. And for Carmenere, it's very important to have a lot of minerals and nutrients. In this case, in the group, it's a mixture of sand, clay, and silt, 1/3 each one. But the sand is very coarse, so it's a lot of porosity. So the roots has the air to go deep into the soil. That means a lot of spots to feed the plants, a lot of opportunity to go below to the water, and in the upper part of the soil you have more rock, mother rock. You have more of the origin of the soil. So what I mentioned about the Carmenere in this case is very extreme. The tannins, the minerality, the reductive, the roughness is very strong because it's a soil of 2.3 meters or 3 meters with a lot of roots. Exploration is more what happened in the French area. They don't irrigate, so the root has to go down, and down there they found that the key essential of the classic wines, the minerality, the real soil. So the colluvial is the classic Carmenere Peumo, more velvety, brown, with minerality, with tannins, soft but with grit. But the cheese Carmenere, it's in Peumo also, but it's made in a rocky soil. It's the same mountain range, but this is in the mountain range itself that get elevated 120 millions of years ago. It was a volcanic soil that elevated, and because of the geological fails, it gets fractured like the soil gets fractured, and In this case, the roots go down, not because the sun is forced, go down through the fractures of the rock. So this fracture is very important because in those fractures, the roots get the water and the minerals. And the wine is more extreme. Why? Because it's not very soft and velvety. The tannins are gritty. The minerality, that aroma that I mentioned of young iodine, bloodiness, iodine, floral is more extreme, more acidity, because the rock, it brings more acidity, more grit tannins. It's a different concept of Cabernet. Appealing, very appealing, but in this case you have to aerate it a little bit more because it's more, it has more mineral.
Already a 2019, but it will improve in the cellar as well. It'll be drinkable when it arrives, but I'll be putting one of them down from each of them as well.
Yeah, but in this case, it is a case where you have where you can taste two wines in the same area, but with different soil. The colluvial with the classic soil of Panama, and the cheese with a rocky style of with a rocky soil, and the Cabernet is in an extreme condition. And sometimes when the vineyards are in extreme condition, they perform the better.
Well, that's great, Gonzalo.
It's very interesting.
Thank you very much. And if you don't mind sticking around, we'll have questions at the end as well, and some of them might be for you. And so thank you for your patience, Roberto. Here you are. It's your turn. So please go ahead. You are the gentleman who needs no introduction. Your name is on the wine. So please go ahead. I've got some of the El Barrio. We had a discussion about that. We should discuss it again. And I've got the Molina here as well. And I know Kim Chen has the Magnum. I've got the Magnum in my cellar, but I didn't bring it up here. So
yeah, I'll give you mine then here.
Yes, there you are. Okay, I'll be right there.
Well, I think I'm going to try to explain more in this case as the wines we were showing, which are the Del Barrio collection, this natural wine concept and philosophy. And that's good to bounce a little bit from all the great information of Gonzalo about terroir and soil and all that explains clearly what are the differences obviously in Chile, and that gives all of you the diversity and the fun part of choosing wine and drinking wine. That is like of every different area of Chile, you find something different, something new, something fun. We've been obviously, as La Rosa and Gonzalo also remembers, with Opimium, I guess more than 20 years, 25 years, long time. And what we try to do in our selection of Casanova wines is to shift up a little bit in what we've been showing all these decades and focusing this last year in our natural and low intervention wines. For us, the traditional wines are very important as part of our core wines that we do. But we found as a rebirth of all this pandemia and COVID being isolated, this new kind of venture in natural wine that for us means that go back to the roots in a way, doing wines without nothing added and nothing taken out. So the four El Barrio that I have them here, you see 1, 2, and 3, 4. The four of them are 100% natural wines. And obviously, as natural wine, there's no definition. There's a definition, but it's not something kind of certified. In our case, as you know us, and you know us, all our wineries in a way, and there's a trust in a way what we do. And this is what we call our natural wines because they have nothing added. No yeasts added in the fermentation, no enzymes, no oak aging, no filtering, no stabilization. So basically, in case of the whites, you'll find them blurry and with sediments. This one is not shaked. You can see some of the sediments in the bottom. I normally recommend to shake them after you chill them in order that you can get all the sediments in the suspension of the bottle. You see it looks dustier and more blurry, but all that is mouthful character, is total expression of those sediments that obviously within the time they're in the bottle, they will be evolving also and giving much more texture and character to the wine. Just a parenthesis, in all the El Barrio collection, the artwork is done by my wife, Julia. Last year they made a summary a little bit in the book about her. The Casanueva range that also for ages, and we changed 2 years ago. We wanted here to put all of the artwork of my grandmother. So all the Casanueva range have different artwork from my grandmother at different places. That's the vineyard, that's the train station Molina, and the one some also know, which is special this year, is the Rosé. That's the main galleria in our house. And last year in some of the videos, I posted this picture with the background of the real house. So you could see that it was a real painting. So that's what we wanted to do with the natural wines, bring them to you. They have been something successful in the rest of the world. There's a percentage of the market and consumers that want to taste those real character wine. We try to then make them in the most clean way, so you're not going to find any disorder in the nose or something unpleasant. You might find the sediments, you might find the blurriness, you might find the difference between one bottle or the other, but that's part of the challenge of a natural wine, that when you want to try something that's pure, that is kind of drinking a wine from the tank, it's a real experience. In our case, at our home, we almost drink natural wine. These 4 bottles are part of our collection, and the myth that the wine without sulfites might not last after you open it, it's breaking with these wines, because we open a wine and we drink it through the week and it's no problem at all. So that's a big tick in what we've been doing. Now, I'm not sure, and our experience is probably only of 3 years doing natural wines, 4 years. So the longevity of a wine, I'm not sure. I do know that the first Chardonnay we did, 2018, still feels rich and intense, not so fresh as the first years. And in the case of the reds, because of the tannic character and the pH and the acidity, the wines have been able to last longer. So a natural wine that was bottled maybe 2 years ago, today is feeling very, very round and soft in its tannins.
And Roberto, you and I were talking before everybody came on about the El Barrio. When I opened it, I was absolutely amazed. This is the 2020, and the tannins were so smooth and integrated already. I was absolutely amazed. Yeah.
I think it's also the winemaking process. We do that. We don't leave the fermentation last until the end with the skins. So we take the skins outer sooner than later in order to avoid that excessive extraction. But the key for us is to bottle within the year. We bottle only in batches, special batches. In the case of a premium, we wait longer, and we normally allocate a certain tank. So when the offering comes, like now in February, and probably will be bottling in 2 more weeks, the premium orders, and that will be exactly bottled very, very fresh. One thing to open the El Barrio, they're all come in wax. I know this is not a tutorial that is.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, well, that doesn't mean that it's the best way, and with my father, I showed him this way and said, oh no, I don't like to do another way, so he does it differently. But what I just do is just put the bottle opener, just right through the wax.
I thought you were going to get a saber out, but perhaps not.
Yeah. Okay, no, with a sparkling, if we had the luminous this year, I would have done it again.
Right.
So just get it in straight in, and just ideally, if you use this double movement, if you guys don't have one, me or Gonzalo can send you some for the next offer. Okay, and then when you just look at there and then pull it up, and because it's wax, it cuts very easily and very smooth.
And doing it live, you certainly had a lot of confidence there, Roberto. Well done.
Yeah. And also with my computer below. So if it's also the computer. And then just clearly you can take out the pieces of wax so they don't go into the
Well, you couldn't have showed me that a month ago.
Oh, well, I'll put a video on the Casanova.
We should do.
And then here's where you see the sediments, you know, and the blurriness. Yeah.
Mhm.
Here, obviously, it's recommended to drink very, very cold or taken out of the fridge so you can feel, obviously, those aromas that are very gentle. Because as a natural wine, there's no protection. There's nothing that keeps them in. So obviously, they can fade out very quickly with temperature going up. Yeah.
So there, I've had two questions from my friends when I talk about natural wines, and you mentioned you don't add yeast. Where does the yeast come from?
Well, all raisins, all grapes, all the skin, all varieties, they have their yeast, their wild yeasts. So when you read that it says wild yeasts, it's not that we add like a cowboy yeast, you know, killing all the sugar. In this case, wild yeast is basically the yeast is in the skin of the grapes. Mm-hmm. So basically, when you say added selected yeasts, you're making a wine with selected yeast, and we do use selected yeast for other wines, and it's very normal, and that's how we kind of learn to do wine. I think when we learned to do wine, to do natural wines was the anti-wine, is what they said to us. Don't do that. Don't sell a wine unfiltered. Don't sell a wine unstabilized. So this is something that breaks a lot of myths. It's very kind of challenging, but we're happy with the venture and the path we're taking.
Because the thinking has always been that you wouldn't know what you're going to end up with, but in fact you do, don't you? You're getting some consistency vintage to vintage, and you're getting what you expect to get in the end.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, good answer.
We expect to have a nice wine, something you can drink and enjoy. And this 4 years has been great, has been a great experience. I guess that's why every year we've been adding a new variety or a new blend, and obviously there's a risk in all this to do, because obviously as it's not stabilized, not filtered, we expect everybody to take the wine with more care. It's like the same time when you buy milk, or you buy butter. You buy butter, you buy milk, and you take care of those produce. You don't just leave them in the car, or you just don't leave them in the bag. You get them supermarket in the bag and then put them in the fridge and take care. In this, you don't have to put them in the fridge immediately, but it's good to be stored in a cool place because it could evolve more rapidly than a traditional wine.
Right. And I think Lori Jean's got a good idea here that's saying it's somewhat like sourdough bread when you're creating a starter, that it's natural, that it starts to do that fermentation. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah, could be. I haven't done sourdough bread, so but it's
no. And last question that I get from my friends is, what is in the cloudiness? What are those particles?
Well, it's basically sediments of the fermentation, dead yeasts, the yeast that were there. What are they, Gonzalo? What is more in there? What are the sediments?
Normally, yes, the dead yeast, and normally the juice has not solid parts that sometimes it's always are dissolved and then we settle them. But in this case, the solid part gets in the wine, and that solid parts feed the yeast, and then the yeast get dried, and those solid parts the yeast liberate. And normally, what Roberto also mentioned, it realizes some monoproteins, some roughness. Very good, only good things. Nothing bad can happen.
And the way I describe it is that it's the must, the grape must, that is actually breaking down right into small particulate. And then when you filter the wine, those come out, but there's no reason to take those out other than people are used to having clear wines, right?
Well, in every stage of winemaking, we do a clearing of the juice, we do a clearing of the first racked wine, then we do a fining, and then we do a filtering, and then we do a stabilizing, then another filtering, and then we bottle with another filter. So basically, these natural wines don't go through none of those stages. And in many cases, when a tank, it's the same like if you put a juice or natural juice, you know, with that you make at home, and you blend it and you put it in the fridge. After an hour in the fridge, it's going to sediment. You're going to have just a clear part, and then you're going to have all the heavier solids that are falling down. In our case, what we try to do is keep them as much as we can during the whole process. So every time we rack and we move the wine, we blend the tank, like we move it up and down, and then we move the wine to another tank. In some bottlings, because we are not always attentive to everything, are a bit clearer. So basically they don't make the blending of the same tank, and they bottle, so the wine is a bit more clear. So you might find some batches that are clearer than others. But ultimately what we look is that we have that richness, that full body and full character. Sometimes you drink a natural wine of the year even, and it feels like if it's a Burgundy aged for 10 years. And I'm not kidding, because that's what people have told me. And it's just because of the sediments that are there. So that's with the natural wine white. The one I opened now here was El Barrio Chardonnay, which is that darker picture. Any question meanwhile I open the other one? Because I want to show the...
So in that shard, Roberto, I think you said that it was it was round, so it's gone through malolactic, has it? Is it?
Yeah. Yes. It's gone through the secondary fermentation, malolactic. So obviously, when we have to do first bottlings that we've done for first bottling for some customers that really want the one and rushing after the fermentation, we've done those first batches without the malolactic fermentation. That means that those people that are going to drink that one, the wine is going to be a little bit more fresher, more appley character. And as time goes on, because we're not trying to control the wine will be evolving in the cellar. So when we bottle in the second half of the year, the wine would normally go under the malolactic fermentation, which will change the appley character to a more creamy character.
Very cool.
But that's also fun in natural wine, because some customers that are normally drinking wine, they kind of have been telling us how they experienced also that evolution. They'll taste one wine in the first semester and say, wow, this is so fresh, so rich. And then when they taste it after 8 months or a year from a new batch, they feel the new character coming in.
That must be very interesting for you to be able to get that kind of feedback. It's really cool. So Paul, we'll wait on your question, Paul, about food pairings when we open the reds for the Carignan.
You see, same way, same opening.
Straight through.
First move, second move.
I don't mind saying it again. I wish I knew that a month ago, Roberto.
You should have texted me.
Yeah, that's right.
Because somebody wrote me like a while ago and said, oh, I love your wines, I love this and that. The only thing, I don't take off the wax because it takes a long time, it's all mess in the table. And I just sent him a quick video and I said, oh my God, that was so easy.
I promise everybody on the call that video will appear on Opinion TV really soon.
Yeah. In the case of the reds, you don't see the cloudiness, you don't see the blurriness, but you will see a very intense color. And I'm not sure if yours that you tasted there or drank, Michael, how was the color? How do you feel the color when you open it?
Yeah, and I don't have this open right now, but again, I thought that, and I had done the Cabernet Sauvignon of the El Barrio, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
And I found, I was surprised to see that it was a little lighter than I would have expected a South American Sauv to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, so drinkable right away. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. But what you will see in all of them is the very purple hues, you know, because it's the wine of the year. So it's purple, and it's like normally we don't get that. Normally customers get red wines after a year when it's the wine has been settled in the winery or has gone under oak. So here, that color is one of the great expressions of the wine. And at the nose and the mouth, what we look with this wine is, again, one direction personality wine, basically something that jumps into your nose with fruit character, Obviously, in the case of the red, it's more directed into berries, but it's like berry juice, honestly. And second, a straightforward character in the mouth. Very clean tannins. Some cases a little bit softer. Carignan. I opened the Carignan here. Carignan is very soft, very easy drinking, very smooth. In the case of Cabernet Sauvignon, you can find a little bit more tannic expression, but really, when you like wine and you want to pair with food, obviously the Cabernet Sauvignon goes really, really good too.
So, and then let's answer Paul's question about the Carignan. What's a good food pairing with that guy that's in your hand now?
Carignan will go very well as like in the white natural wines, creamy sauce, maybe pasta with some, your lasagna would be great with this because obviously it has a creamy bechamel sauce, but it's still red. So you get a little bit of that tannin behind it. As a starter, Carignan is great because it's so smooth that it tunes you in to what's the next dish or maybe the next wine as well. So it's a wine, it's like a sipping wine while you're talking and just enjoying some fresh red wine.
Yeah, you could start a meal with the charcuterie plate and some olives and that sort of thing with this, I think.
Yes, olives, when charcuterie, with cold. If you have a cold roast beef, also would go great with it because it's something nice, soft.
And then Robert's asking if you would also shake the bottle of the red as well to get those in suspension.
Yeah, I do with all of them the same. Probably in the case of the reds, you have less of that body weight character like in the white, but you would get some of the sediments that are still in the bottom.
And then specifically about the artwork, can you talk about that one on the Carignan?
Yeah, well, all of them is Julia, my wife, she picked a different image that she had in time. It is just a picture of, I don't know where it is, a scene from Chile. In the label, the dusk of uptown Santiago, the business district of El Golf. Yeah, so basically this is a road in Santiago and you can follow her and you can find more about her drawings. But that's been something new also for us. All the new work that we do in our labels is done by Julia. So thanks for that question. She wants lots of followers, so follow her.
And where do we follow that? That's not a Chaveria wine, right? Does she have her own? I don't mind saying what that is. What have you, do you know it? Or we can send it out to the group if you don't know it. Yeah.
What's your, no, she doesn't want to be in the video, I know.
Her voice can be in the video, it's okay. Oh, Gary and Joy have it right there. Oh no, it's okay. Oh, you just
at Sourward.
Julia. Perfect. All right.
So we got, and one of the new wines also, well, you have the collection of the Casanueva. Yeah. Propuesta. Don't forget the Propuesta. Yeah. It's a very nice blend. Kim Tien's always says, oh, show me the bottle, show me the bottle. So there you are.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, Kim Tien, that was in the master's case, right? Yeah. So those of you that are in the master's case program will have received those wines. And I've got the Molina. I was just telling Roberto, and you guys who have seen the video of me cooking that beef stew, the Molina went into the beef stew, and then I had the Albarrio when I ate the beef stew. So it was quite remarkable. It was all a Chaveria meal.
Yeah, totally family meal. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. No, cheers.
And what were you drinking while you were cooking? The same hacienda?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, because my dad always has two bottles. One, the bottle that he's drinking while he cooks, and the other one.
And that was true. That it was this one while I cooked, and then this one while I ate. and Gonzalo, I drink your wines all the time too. Look at the Merlot is empty.
Yeah.
So, not that I drink a lot. Nobody thinks I drink a lot, I don't think, right, Kim Jen?
I always see empty bottles. You're talking with empty bottles in your hand, so that means something.
Yeah, that's
which is good.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And the last one I'm going to show is this one. It's a label that kind of doesn't say much, but if you read carefully, you will be able to read the word bacán. Bacán is like I would say South American, Brazilian, Chilean expression, Argentinian expression. We use it all across. That means very cool. So basically, this new wine, also artwork from Julia, it's a cool blend that we wanted to do, and we're very happy that Jane picked it because it's a Grenache and Tempranillo. Very strange for us. It's like, I wasn't sure she was going to pick it. We have very few barrels of both of them. And she picked it, and we said, okay, Victor, we got to keep those barrels and not use them for anything else because we're going to have to give them for our premium members. And this wine is in the low intervention category. Low intervention for us means that in the bottling stage, we might do a very fine filtering, and we might add very low levels of sulfites as in its bottling, as a difference to natural wines that we do nothing. And maybe why that? First, because we want the wine to be, it's tricky, the answer. Maybe why is that? Because we were more scared of doing it 100% natural. If it's me, probably I would just, next time, just do it 100% naturally with no sulfites. Maybe the filter clears the wine a little bit and takes out some possible impurities, but in the case of the red, you don't see. Just a note, in the case of the El Barrio, we don't filter, but we do put in the hose some panties, you know.
Oh, okay. To take out the big chunks.
Yeah, if there's a fly or if there's something there, obviously we want to get rid of that. Yeah, so there's a lot of panties around in the winery when we bottle, so people get a little bit worried.
Yeah, what stays in the winery, or what happens in the winery stays in the winery. Yeah.
Somebody said something in the winery, we don't know. It's probably one of the wines.
Right.
Yeah, in this case, the same. We did it with wax to differentiate a little bit and make make it part of the family. In this case of El Bacán, there's very slightly aging, 6 months to 7 months in old French barrels. It's just basically to give also a hint of barrel character, but the same as Gonzalo was saying before, and this is something that many wineries have been focusing on, or winemakers, is that we try not to overpower the barrel aging. The barrel, we want to overpower the fruit, the diversity that Chile gives in the fruit character, and that's the structure that we want to create. The variety itself, its expression. It's very easy to add lots of oak and overpower with oak, but then what you have is a very oaky wine, but you don't have the personality of the wine showing itself. So in our case, we just use French barrels, and our blends very rare unless it's the very high end. They use new barrels, and we use new barrels when we have like 2 years or 2 years and a half of time of aging. Then we're sure that the impact of the barrel goes softer in the wine.
And Dave's asking, Roberto, where do you market your natural wines? Are you exporting them all over the world as well?
Well, that was one of the surprises when we started doing natural wines. Today, it's in every continent. Probably our main market is New York, New Jersey, that East Coast, but it's already arrived to the West Coast with our agents in the US. We're very strongly in Japan, Korea, and China, and of course Europe with England and the Netherlands and Belgium. So it's spreading little by little. In a way, that's what we like, because we don't produce too much and we do small batches of bottling. So if every market can get, in some cases, 20, 30, 50 cases, it's really fun. And also gives us the view that there's every market, the wanting of something pure. It's not the great volume. It's not, and that makes it also very doable, because we can focus on quality, keep the standard, and the diversity for our customers.
And Mark Andre is asking about the transportation. Are you having to use climate controlled transport on those now?
Well, many of our customers, they ship everything with refrigerated containers anyway for traditional wine and natural wine. What we've seen is that the ones that don't take it with refrigerated containers, the care in our case is the same with every shipment because we don't take to the port very early. So basically our wines arrive to the port of destination here in Chile, and they go almost in the same day on the deck in the ship, and then they leave. It's a worry obviously in destination, but we try to address all of our customers to not take too long to take their wines out of the dock. Now, being said that, we've exported wine to South Hemisphere in Asia, North Hemisphere Europe, North Hemisphere Canada, America, and Brazil by truck, and I have any complaint or any problem or any bottle having a difficulty in 3 years. So at least that's today a positive statistic.
Yes, that's right. And you'll hear if it turns.
Yeah. Oh, they'll tell us. But in a way, one thing in natural wines that is allowed, there's something that moves the wine through an axis, it's allowed. And that's why I don't offer natural wines to everyone. And I'm trying to be very responsible and caring. Like, first I ask, do you know about natural wines? No. Okay, try it first. If you like it, take it. But I don't push my customers to natural wines. If they want it, if they heard about something, normally they try it, and I would say 100% they like it. It's different to what they expected, and that's because of maybe faulty experiences in the past with natural wines. Because obviously, we are maybe advantage that we have that we are a sustainable winery certified. We ISO 9001 winery certified, so we have lots of control and rigid hygiene practices in the winery, and that allows us to have everything super clean and super tidy and super controlled. Obviously, you might find producers that are just making natural wine, but their cellar is not very clean, maybe not very hygiene, because doing natural wine is like what you do basically in the days. Just crush, put in a tank, ferment, and then bottle.
Yeah, and then we're coming up to the top of the hour, but there's 2 more questions here. Mark is asking, what's your best-selling varietal?
In the natural wines?
I think in either. Let's talk about overall first.
The natural wines, the Chardonnay, and overall in all of our wines, I would say the Cabernet Sauvignon is one of our characteristics, and basically Cabernet also because it has a different ranges. So we have Cabernet in the natural side, we have Cabernet in the Hacienda Molina, which is more fruity driven character, and we have Cabernet also in the Grand Reserva, more traditional range, which is the other one.
Right, so and actually Dave is asking for you to talk about the Grand Reserva Cab Sauv a little bit.
Yeah. So the Grand Reserva, Cabernet Sauvignon, here we come to more traditional winemaking, a wine that we've been, well, probably doing and promoting for more than 2.5 decades. Keeps the same style and the same philosophy. This comes from our soil terroir in Molina, the same as the natural wines, El Barrio, same area, same vineyard. But with that is how we can focus and do a different wine with a different winemaking philosophy and objective. Here, we harvest a little bit later because we want the wine to be a little more mature. And after the wine is fermented, which is the same fermentation, same process with the natural wine. In this case, we're using now no added yeast, also the local yeast that the grapes have by themselves. And when the wine finishes the fermentation, in the case of the natural wines, we take the wine out of the skins. In the case of the Grand Reserva Cab, we leave the wine with the skins with a short post-fermentation maceration to add a little bit more tannin grip to the wine, because this wine will go into a barrel. So we want the wine to be a little bit heavy shoulders, and be prepared more muscly to go through those barrels, and combine the tannin of the barrel with the tannin of the Cabernet Sauvignon, and with that make those connection and get that unctuosity and flavor. In case of the color, you will find something a little bit more evolved and lighter color, not so thick as the natural wines. And this is 2020. Probably you have, wherever you have in stock, I've seen sometimes people having 18, 17, 16. Somebody once showed me a 15 blend. This is a wine that can hold easily for 10 years. I mean, and I always recommend open a bottle when you receive it, because that shows you if you like the wine fresh and a little bit more empowered. If you think the wine has structure, make a note in the box, and keep the rest of the bottles and open a bottle every year or so. But if the wine is great at the moment, well, just invite your friends or have a good party. Huh?
Yeah, or go through 5 of the 6 El Barrio like in the first month.
Yeah.
So, and Robert's asking about the natural wines to swirl to keep the particles in suspension, but they won't drop that quickly anyway, will they? You don't need to swirl it to keep those in suspension.
Yeah, at the moment you put it in your glass, it's very unlikely will last in the glass more than 30 seconds. The wine, I mean, because if you swirl it and you're thirsty, you're gonna just dig in very quickly. But if it does last, obviously, one little swirl before you drink it will be great, because then you'll get that in your body. And who knows, all those sediments, what are going to do to your body? They're going to help you. They're going to be stronger.
That's right.
Healthier.
Exactly.
Younger.
All those things that I want, Roberto.
Yeah.
Stronger, younger. Absolutely.
My dad was talking here, which he would love to be talking here. We should invite him once or make a special call. He's 83 years old, and he's every day doing gym and doing sports and going up and down, going to the winery, going back to Santiago, going to the beach, coming back. He just changed his car to a Jeep Wrangler, with taking out the hood and stuff. Dad, really, that car is not for you? What do you mean it's not for me? I want to go to the mountain. I want to go to the south. I want to go to the north. Of course it's for me. What are you saying? I said, no, I'm not saying anything. So,
it's called a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Well, at 83.
Like 80, yeah. But what I mean that he drinks wine every day, and every day a different glass, a different sip. I have to say that his favorite is Chardonnay. So he drinks, and that's another myth that breaks everything. He just drinks Chardonnay almost with everything. He doesn't like so much reds. So he likes beef, he likes a nice barbecue, but he's always with his Chardonnay there. I said, Dad, don't you want a red? No, I want my Chardonnay.
Oh, that's the first rule, right? Is drink what you like.
Drink what you like, and if you want to eat a nice beef steak because that's what you're waiting, but you're really savoring that nice Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's all gone. The Sauvignon Blanc.
You're right.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, we're well past the hour, so thank you very, very much, Roberto. I don't know if you're still there, Gonzalo. Yeah, there you are. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us all the way from Chile. It's always exciting to speak to people all around the world. And thank you, Opinion members. Oh, a couple of ads. While I'm here, we finally put out the French trip that's happening on May 15th out to the people who put their hand up, and where there's 30 spots and 21 spots are gone after one day. And so, and Anais is traveling, so I don't know how many we got today, but we were anticipating selling out today, and it only went out on Friday. So that's really cool. We're planning another one for Italy for the fall, and then next year is our 50th anniversary at Opinion. So we're planning 4 trips then, and I wouldn't be surprised if South America were one of those 4 trips, because that was one of my first trips with Opinion, was as an AR going down to Chile, and I met Roberto, and we had a wonderful trip, and so we'll come down there again and see Gonzalo this time as well. So that would be a great thing. So thank you, everybody, and I hold up that the Magnum again, please, Kim Chen, if you have it handy, the Molina. As you'll notice, we're putting a lot more Magnums and different formats in the catalogs, and we're putting them in different pack sizes. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing that too, and doing 2 packs and 3 packs and that sort of thing. But I'm literally changing my cellar now. I'm going to take a piece of it and make it so that I can store magnums properly. And I'm going to do some video there, and you'll be able to see how I change that, because I'm starting to have so many magnums around the house that, but don't tell Miriam, my wife. So that's great. Thank you, everybody. It's such a pleasure to see you all again, and
Thank you.
have a great rest of what's left of the weekend. I'm going to start heating up the lasagna for my family. So
Enjoy.
yes, take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.